I'm Angie, and today I am incredibly honored to have my post after birth featured over at BlogHer. If you haven't read it already, I hope that you will. I could have done this as a post, and I deliberately chose not to. Chose to do it as a vlog because I really wanted to put a face on postpartum depression, largely because I avoided doing it myself for so long, and because while a list of symptoms and risk factors is very nice, it's nice to hear somebody who's been there talk about it, and because it is such a painful experience, a lot of us don't. I know I didn't. I didn't tell my own family that I was suffering with postpartum depression and anxiety until over 2 years after my twins were born. And at first I didn't tell them because I was ashamed, even though I knew that I had no reason to be. The rational side of me knew I had no reason to be ashamed, but the other side of me was ashamed anyway. And for me, it was also complicated by the fact that my father was dying, and that gave me another excuse not to tell them. I don't want to burden them in this time of need. And by not telling them, I robbed myself of an incredibly valuable support system, and I regret that decision. I really, really do regret it. So if you are out there and you are in the shoes I was in 5 years ago, and you are suffering from postpartum depression or anxiety, and it comes in a variety of forms, and a multitude of levels of severity, kind of on a scale, and I'm going to put some links below so you can learn more. But if you're in those shoes, you're probably feeling a few things, and one of them is, I'm a terrible mother. You're not. Another one is, I am so alone. You're not. Another one, there is something so wrong with me. There may be, but not in an innate sense, in a health sense. You may have too many hormones coursing through your body for your brain to handle. You may have a chemical imbalance going on in your brain. You may need medical help, and that may be what's wrong with you. Not that that's a small thing, but if that's you, please seek help. And if that is you and you've never had any kind of introduction to the mental health system, allow me to be your guide. You'll want to see a psychiatrist if you need medication. Psychiatrists are the doctors. They are the MDs. They're the ones who dispense medication. And contrary to the picture most people have in their minds, you don't go in and lie on a couch. I'm not sure I've ever even seen a couch in a psychiatrist's office. Well, no. Mine has a couch. I've never been asked to lie down on it and talk about, my parents or anything like that. But it's very much a compassionate, caring medical environment. And after your initial appointment, you'll generally have 15-minute follow-up sessions where they manage your medication. And that's it. I was surprised to learn that most psychiatrists do not provide therapy. And my personal opinion and my personal experiences have been that medication works best when combined with therapy. And your psychiatrist can help you find a therapist. And your first therapist may not be your ultimate therapist. And that's okay. It's okay to say, this isn't working for me. Can you recommend someone else? Therapists are kind of like shoes. One size does not fit all. But they can help you find someone. And what breaks my heart is I've heard several of my friends say, I'm afraid to seek help in either of those forms because I'm afraid People will know my business. I live in a small town. What if somebody sees me in the parking lot of the doctor's office? What if somebody knows I see a therapist? And I don't have fantastic answers to that dilemma, except to say that, there's this wonderful law called HIPAA, and it keeps your healthcare information private. And because of it, no one is ever going to know what you tell your mental health care professionals during your sessions with them. And if somebody, says something to you about having a therapist, perhaps you could point out that in some parts of the country, like New York, it seems that the norm is to have one. Why don't you? I think everybody could stand a good use of therapy, or a good dose of therapy, excuse me. So there are links and information below that I hope you will find helpful. But mostly, I want you to find hope here that this is the face of postpartum depression 5 years later, and I'm okay. And at the risk of sounding trite, you will be too if you get help, and it gets better.